A few months ago, a young family couple was driving along the road. It was a dark, cold, and horrible night. Suddenly, Danila heard a terrible noise. His girl Jane was confused because she didn't know about cars, even the simplest things, but the reason was obvious for him. They ran out of petrol. They stopped the car and went out. Jane proposed to stay near the car, but Danila told her that they had to find a near town or village or even someone because it was an old abandoned road in the forest. The time passed by. Unfortunately, they couldn't find anything that was real. Jane started to be nervous, naturally, so they stopped and sat under a tree. Unexpectedly, they heard extremely strong, loud and terrifying animal's voice, which echoed from the depth of the forest. It seemed that it was a scream of a beast. Danila and Jane never heard such a. Their hearts almost stopped because of the fear they had. They could neither move nor carry on. Young people understood that if they didn't do somewhere and would sit on the same place, they would die. Jane and Danila stood up and started to walk slowly and very carefully without any sound. But after few steps they stopped in fear because of the thing they saw. On the forest meadow, which was all in the moonlight, stood the. It was something with red eyes, what had a bright yellow shade, and with sharp as razor claws and teeth. It wasn't a man, but it wasn't an animal. It seemed that he was from hell. Lovers started to run out, keeping each other's hands. Unexpectedly, although Danila felt Jane's hand in his, at that very moment he heard a horrible scream. It was his girl. Danila ran towards the sound, really wishing to save Jane, but it was too late. He started to shake with fear and his face was in tears. All the glade was in human blood. In the middle of the forest meadow Danila saw torn Jane's body. In despair he ran to her. He wanted to kiss her lips, which were in blood for the last time, but suddenly he saw the beast shade behind. Several days later he got back to his consciousness. He was in a big forest guard's house near the road. Danila opened the window and saw his car. He remembered events of that terrible night. That day he found out that this forest was damned and the beast was a guard of it. He killed everyone who came in. Man told Danila that he was the first who stayed alive after meeting with Devil's son. But why? This is the biggest secret of Danila.